Hello, my friend. Welcome to your sleep story. My name is Dalton. I'm an Irish storyteller, and it's my great privilege to be the voice that you listen to as you go to sleep tonight. You know how I love requests for stories, and recently one of you asked for a story about a hut on a beach. And it got me thinking about another series that I did about a lady called Hope who lives on her own in a cabin in the woods. And so I thought of a new character called Cliff who lives in a hut on the beach. This can be a new series if you like. So if you'd like to hear more from Cliff and his simple life, let me know in the comments. One small thing, if you'd like to support my work, you can become a patron, and the link is below this video. Okay, let's do the relaxation session now, which will take a few minutes before tonight's sleep story. I'm going to count down from 10 to 1, and as I do, allow yourself to let go more and more. 10. Feel the support of the bed beneath you, or the floor, or whatever you lie upon tonight. And beneath whatever you lie upon, feel the ever-present support of the earth, our home, our constant support. And with the knowledge of that support now, the awareness of it, see if you can allow yourself to let go a little bit more now, to soften a little bit more now, to ease into this moment a little bit more now. 9. You are safe. Allow my voice to be a friend tonight, an anchor of safety, an anchor of trust that will only ever take you to safe places. And with this knowledge, with this safety, ease more into this moment of peace, this moment of rest, this moment that is yours. 8. Peace lives within you. It is a constant friend, for it is always there, just waiting to be seen, waiting to be heard, waiting to be felt. See if you can find your constant friend tonight. And if you do, where does it dwell within you? And when you find it, see if you can feel it throughout yourself, both in your body and in your mind. 7. The day is done. Whatever has been has been. Whatever will be, will be. Just let go now. Whatever thoughts you might have about what has been, or whatever thoughts you might have about what will come, in this moment, the best way you can serve yourself is to see those thoughts. Recognize them for what they are, thoughts, and not you, and let them go, for they will still be there tomorrow. So watch them float away now, like clouds in a starlit sky, or leaves on a moonlit river. 6. This is your moment. This is your time. Enjoy that fact. Enjoy that you have nowhere to be, nowhere to go. And by moving towards rest and sleep now, you are doing the best possible thing you can for yourself. Perhaps allow a little coziness in this moment, a feeling that because this is your moment, that you move a little bit more under the covers, a little bit more of a feeling of warmth. 5. Feel into your body now. See where you are still holding. Maybe it's in your feet. Maybe it's in your lower legs. Maybe it's in your belly. Maybe it's in your chest. Maybe your hands. Or maybe your face. Your body has worked hard for you today. It's time to let it rest. 4. Perhaps allow a little gratitude now. Gratitude for the simple things. Gratitude for the shelter you have tonight. Gratitude for life. Gratitude for those you care about. 3. Begin to engage with your imagination now. Begin to see a beautiful beach with turquoise waters and palm trees and a little hut and a simple man living there. Begin to feel the purity and beauty of this moment. 2. Checking in one more time now. Releasing any tension. And 1. Completely letting go now. As I tell you tonight's sleep story. Cliff sits on the beach. Our nearest star is saying hello again as it slowly ascends over the horizon, casting a gentle glow across the tranquil beach. The waves lap softly against the shore, and Cliff listens, enjoying the sound. He sits cross-legged on the warm sand, with a serene smile on his face. His eyes reflect the calmness of the sea, mirroring this peaceful life that he has chosen for himself. Cliff has a beach hut, a modest and sturdy structure made from driftwood and other materials that he found along the shore, and it stands behind him. It's surprisingly resilient and very strong, and Cliff sees it as a symbol of his new life, one that is far removed from the stress and chaos of his former life. Each morning, he rises with the sun, embracing the simplicity and tranquility that his new home offers. After savoring the beauty of the sunrise, Cliff stands up and stretches, feeling the warmth of the first rays on his skin. He takes a deep breath, filling his lungs with the crisp, salty air. This moment of stillness is Cliff's way of grounding himself, a daily ritual that sets the tone for the day ahead. He walks back to his beach hut and begins the rest of his morning routine. He gathers a few pieces of driftwood and kindling and starts a small fire in the pit he has built just outside his hut. The crackling of the fire and the smell of burning wood bring a sense of comfort and familiarity. He then goes and fills a small pot with water from a nearby stream, walks back and sets it over the fire, preparing to make his morning tea. And while the water heats, Cliff tidies up his living space. He sweeps the sand from the floor of the hut, arranges his few belongings, and ensures everything is in its place. The simplicity of these surroundings is a constant reminder of the life he left behind. A life filled with clutter and distractions. Here, every item has a purpose, and every action is deliberate. As the water begins to boil, Cliff prepares his tea, carefully measuring the leaves and adding them to the pot. He pours himself a cup and sits on a small wooden stool by the fire, sipping slowly and savoring the moment. The warmth of the tea, the sound of the waves, and the gentle breeze create a moment of perfection, of pure contentment that marks the beginning of his day. While drinking his tea, Cliff reaches for his journal, a well-worn book that has become a companion in this time. He opens it to the next blank page, noting the date, the time, and the location at the top. And with a deep breath, he begins to write, his thoughts flowing onto the paper in a kind of stream of consciousness. Day 752. I still think of my old life, working in the office, saying hello to people I barely knew. I still think of trying to be the person that I thought I was meant to be. But I must say, I'm happier here. It's been 752 days since I walked away from the city, from the stress and the chaos, from a life that never felt like mine. I know I've written about it before, but I still remember the last day at the office vividly. The endless meetings, the pressure to perform. It felt like I was on a never-ending treadmill, running, but never getting anywhere. The decision to leave was not easy, but it was necessary. I had saved enough to start anew, and so I did. Building the beach hut was the first step toward reclaiming my life. I remember how I found this secluded spot by chance, a hidden gem, far from the beaten path. The work was hard, but it was the kind of hard work that feels good, that makes you feel alive. Every piece of driftwood, every nail, Every bit of effort that I put into this hut was a step away from my old life and a step towards something real and fulfilling. Sure, I still have moments when I think about the people I left behind, friends who understood my decision, and others who thought I was crazy. I wonder if they ever dream of leaving it all behind, finding their own beach hut, their own sanctuary. Sometimes I think about the life I could have had if I stayed. The promotions, the pay raises, the endless cycle of striving for more. But then I look around and I know I made the right choice. This place, this life, has given me something I never had before. Peace. The sound of the waves, the feel of the sand beneath my feet, the sight of the sun rising and setting each day and night. These are the things that matter to me now. The simple things. And of course, the community here. The people I have met. They remind me that life is about more than just surviving. It's about living. Truly living. As Cliff finishes writing, he closes the journal and sits back, feeling a sense of clarity and peace. The daily act of writing down his thoughts helps him to process his journey and reaffirm his decision. He looks out at the ocean, the waves gently rolling onto the shore, and takes a deep breath, savoring the tranquility of his surroundings. Now, Cliff decides to take a walk along the beach. The morning sun has risen higher in the sky. The tide is low, revealing a wide expanse of beach, dotted with shells and smooth stones that glisten in the sunlight. Cliff walks slowly, his feet sinking slightly into the soft sand with each step. And as he walks, he takes in the beauty of his surroundings, appreciating this simple yet deeply profound joy of being present in this moment. And as he walks, Cliff occasionally stops to to pick up an interesting shell or piece of driftwood, adding to his small collection back at the hut. These small treasures, each with its unique shape and texture, remind him of the ocean's endless ability to create and transform. Then, reaching a particularly inviting stretch of beach, Cliff feels the urge to swim. He places his journal and the collected treasures in a safe spot on the sand and begins to wade into the water. The cool, clear ocean envelops his feet and legs, sending a refreshing shiver through his body. He continues to wade deeper and feels so refreshed, so healed in this moment. Healed by the nature that surrounds him, healed by the peace he offers himself. Then Cliff swims leisurely along. The ocean is calm today, and Cliff enjoys this weightless feeling as the sunlight dances on the water, creating a shimmering effect that is both mesmerizing and soothing. After some time, he turns and swims back towards the shore, his strokes slow and deliberate. He emerges from the water, droplets glistening on his skin, and walks back to his spot on the sand. He sits down, letting the sun warm him and dry the water from his body. He sits quietly for a few moments, watching the waves and feeling the rhythm of the ocean. He knows that this place, this life, is where he is meant to be. The beach hut, the walks, the swims, all of these things have become a part of him, shaping his days and bringing him happiness. Cliff closes his eyes and takes some deep breaths. In and out. In and out. And as he opens his eyes, he notices a familiar figure walking along the shoreline. It's Carl, a friend and neighbor who lives in another beach hut further down the coast. Carl has become one of Cliff's closest friends since he moved here. Her beach hut, which is adorned with colorful seashells and wind chimes, is a reflection of her vibrant and cheerful personality. She often walks along the beach, collecting shells and enjoying the natural beauty, much like Cliff. "Morning, Cliff," Carl calls out, waving as she approaches. "Morning, Carl," Cliff responds with a smile. "Care to join me?" Carl sits down beside Cliff on the sand, the two of them gazing out at the ocean. For a moment, they simply enjoy the companionable silence, the sound of the waves, the air meeting their skin. "How was your swim?" Carl asks, breaking the silence. "Perfect," Cliff replies. "The water was so calm and clear today. It always feels like a reset, you know? Like the ocean just washes everything away that's being weighing on me." Carl nods, understanding exactly what he means. "That's why I love it here," she says. "There's something so healing about the sea. It's like it has a way of making everything feel right." They both fall silent again, lost in their thoughts. Carl picks up a small shell from the sand, turning it over in her hands. "You know, Cliff," she begins, "I was thinking about how much my life has changed since I moved here. I used to feel so rushed and stressed all the time. But now, it's like I finally have the space to just be." Cliff looks at her, sensing the depth of her words. "I feel the same way," he says. "It's like this place gives us permission to slow down and appreciate the simple things, to find joy in the simplicity of life." Carl smiles, her eyes reflecting the warmth and sincerity of their conversation. "And it's not just the place, is it?" she asks. "It's the community we've built here. The friendships, the shared moments. It all adds to the magic of this place." Cliff nods in agreement. "Absolutely. I never expected to find such a close-knit community out here. But it's become one of the best parts of my life, knowing that we have each other, that we're all here for the same reasons. It's incredibly comforting. They sit together, watching the waves and talking about the things that make them happy. The conversation flows easily, touching on their favorite memories, their hopes for the future, and the small joys that fill their days. And as the sun climbs higher in the sky, Coral stands up and brushes the sand from her legs. "Well, I should get back," she says, "but let's catch up again soon. Maybe a beach bonfire tonight?" Cliff smiles. "Sounds perfect. I'll see you then." Coral waves and continues her walk down the beach, leaving Cliff to enjoy the rest of his peaceful morning. He watches her go, feeling grateful for the friendships and the community that have become such an important part of his life here by the ocean. Cliff makes his way back to the beach hut. As he approaches, he sees a small, fluffy figure waiting for him on the porch. It's his cat, Luna, a little creature who has been his companion since shortly after he moved here. "Hello, Luna," Cliff says with a smile. "Are you hungry?" He steps inside the hut, Luna trotting behind him. Cliff scoops some cat food into a bowl and places it on the floor, watching as Luna eagerly begins to eat. The simple act of caring for his pet brings him a sense of fulfillment, another reminder of the peaceful life he has created. Now, Cliff decides it's time to think about his own meal. He grabs his fishing gear from the corner of the hut and heads back outside. He walks along the shore to his favorite fishing spot, a rocky outcrop that juts out into the water. He sets up his fishing rod and casts the line into the water and settles down to wait. Fishing requires patience, and he has plenty of it. As he sits, he takes in the beauty around him. The sparkling water, the distant calls of seabirds, the gentle rustle of the breeze through the dune grass. He looks inland and sees distant, beautiful, tall mountains. He looks to the sky and sees small clouds lazily passing by. Time passes slowly, but Cliff doesn't mind. Fishing is as much about the process as it is about the catch. He feels a tug on the line eventually, and carefully begins to reel it in. He has a fish, and soon he is making his way back to his hut. After lunch, Cliff feels a pleasant heaviness of contentment settling over him. He decides it's the perfect time for a nap. He stands up from the table and walks over to his hammock, which is strung between two sturdy posts on the porch of his beach hut. The hammock sways gently in the breeze, inviting him to relax. He then sits down carefully, feeling the fabric cradle his weight, and with a slight push, he swings his legs up and lies back, letting the hammock support him in its gentle embrace. Cliff stretches out, adjusting his position until he finds the perfect spot where his body is fully supported. He places his hands behind his head, using his arms as a makeshift pillow, and closes his eyes. He takes slow, deep breaths, feeling the tension melt away from his muscles with each exhale. And in this state of deep relaxation, Cliff falls into a peaceful slumber. His dreams are filled with the imagery of the sea, the feel of the sand beneath his feet, and the sense of contentment that has become a constant in his life. He loves napping, restoring his body, rejuvenating his soul, and giving himself the care that he knows he deserves. The sun is continuing its slow arc across the sky, and Luna, his faithful cat, has found a nice spot on the porch and curled herself up, her eyes half closed, as she keeps a gentle watch over Cliff. The two of them, man and cat, are a picture of perfect harmony with their surroundings, enjoying the simple pleasures of life by the sea. After his nap, Cliff feels refreshed and at peace. He stands from the hammock and stretches, enjoying the last warmth of the day before the cool evening sets in. Now, Cliff will go and meet his friends at the community bonfire. He gathers a few things from his hut: a blanket, a small cooler with some refreshments, and a bundle of driftwood he collected earlier. Luna watches him from her cozy spot on the porch, seemingly content to stay behind. Cliff gives her a gentle pat before heading down the beach towards the bonfire site, a few hundred meters up the coast. As he walks, the sky transitions to a deep orange and pink. The colors reflecting off the water in a breathtaking display. When Cliff arrives at the bonfire site, he sees the familiar faces of his friends. Coral is there, along with several others who live in the nearby beach huts. The atmosphere is warm and welcoming. The air is filled with laughter and the hum of conversation. "Evening, Cliff," Coral calls out, waving him over. "Evening, Coral," Cliff replies with a smile, setting down his things and adding his bundle of driftwood to the growing pile for the fire. The group works together to build the bonfire, their movements practiced and efficient. Once the fire is lit, it crackles and roars to life, casting a flickering glow over the gathering. Cliff takes a seat next to Coral and another friend, Marco, who is tuning his guitar. And as the fire burns, they share stories, laughter, and the simple pleasure of each other's company. They see the fellow humanity in each other. They are each reminded on a daily basis of the kindness of humans to each other, of the potential, the goodness that resides within humans. As the evening progresses, Cliff leans back and feels the camaraderie and the peacefulness of the moment. The conversations around the fire are varied, touching on everything from personal experiences to dreams for the future. But most of the time, these people live in the present. Cliff finds himself talking about the day's events, the swim, the nap, and the simple joy of living by the sea. And as the fire burns down, the group begins to wind down. The conversations become quieter, more reflective, and eventually the group begins to disperse, each person heading back to their respective beach huts. Cliff says his goodbyes, feeling the warmth of the fire and the companionship lingering in his heart. He walks back along the beach, the stars above him, and the gentle sound of the waves accompanying him. Back at his hut, Cliff finds Luna waiting for him, her eyes reflecting the glow of the moonlight. He picks her up and gives her a gentle hug before they both settle in for the night. As Cliff lies in his hammock, he feels deeply peaceful and deeply grateful for all that he has at the end of another day in his life on the beach.